And the most amazing, the funny part of it is that if you say you're not going to learn tech because probably you feel you're too old, or probably you think you're not that smart, or probably you think it takes a very long time to get a tech skill, what will happen is that even after 5 years to 10 years, you will still get more old, you get older, and it will still take longer time to learn, right? So the best time to actually start learning tech was yesterday. So you're actually late if you're starting now, but you still have time. You're not that late that you cannot start, but you're that late that you should have started yesterday. While technical and digital skills may have a longer learning curve and requires much commitment, they are something that you can do and should do to secure your future. With technical and digital skills, your location will not be an issue because you can work from any location and any location at any time. You don't need to have a degree to get a job. You don't need to have a degree to acquire a well-paid job that help you have financial stability. Now, I don't know about people who you see around you, but I know a lot of ladies, a lot of people who do not even have university certificates. They do not have college degrees, but they are working in tech. They are earning good money in tech, and it's because they have paid the dues, not really because tech is that easy and it welcomes you no matter what, where you're coming from. It's really because these people have sat down to actually pay the dues that it is required of them to pay if they want to learn a tech skill. Opportunities to solve what problems. I've been in tech for over 10 years, and in the course of my journey, I've been able to solve problems across so many industries. If I were, say, a medical doctor, I wouldn't be able to, focus on medicine and also get to explore other industries. I would solely be in medicine. The same thing as other fields like supply chain and all of that. But the tech industry is the only industry that allows you to explore real world problems across the society. Now, I've been able to work across industries such as health, education, supply chain, events, sports, a lot of them. Just because I'm in tech, I know a lot of domain knowledge about other industries because I've been able to work in tech as a product manager, as a UX engineer, and even as a software engineer. So you get to solve big and major world problems. You can, if you're a UI designer, for instance, you can design a platform that helps people get their health checked. There's this startup that was recently launched, I think 2 years ago, called Health Tracker. This health tracker, enables people to be able to check their health tests, like get them to perform their health tests without leaving their home. So this is a huge problem that the society really needs. But someone was the UI designer for this product. This person is not a medical doctor. This person is not a nurse. This person is not a lab scientist. But just because he or she has designed that platform, the person has been able to affect millions of people that are using that product. I don't know if this makes sense to you. Working in tech gives you leverage to work and impact so many lives. If you were to be a medical doctor, you wouldn't affect so much life in automation. But with tech, you can build a function that can affect millions of users without even meeting them, without even getting to know them. This is the power of tech. This way, you have a chance to influence the world positively while living your dream. We also have financial stability and growth. You can hardly go broke with technical and digital skills. At each time, you see people who need your skills. Tech will change your life. I cannot overemphasize this, but tech will definitely change your life. So stay tuned as we get going in the course of this onboarding. So why would you even want to choose Hatectrio for your learning platform? Now, Hatectrio has this dedicated academy. We call it Hatectrio Academy. Now, Hatectrio Foundation is a non-profit organization, right? And for the fact that we are non-profit, we are not business oriented.
Please, guys, I think it's not that low.
Please, can you mute your mic?
I'm listening to.
For the fact that we are non-profit, we are not business focused, we are looking at, it's more of a passion project for us. We are looking at impacting lives of African and Black ladies all over the world and getting to solve the inclusion problem that the world is currently facing in the tech industry. So for us, it is more of a passion project. Now, you get to enjoy more if you get to learn from people who are passionate about what they do than people who are focusing on something else. Now, also note that all the coaches in Hatechio Academy are working class people. They have numerous jobs. Some of them even go as far as rejecting jobs because there are not really enough gaps. There are not really enough people to take on these jobs. Some of them work 2 to 3 jobs. Some of them freelance on a very large scale because they want to solve problems. So your coaches are professionals. We also have a global community. I know most of us are already having access to that community. In this global community, you have access to, a lot of ladies who are across the world. So you can be in Nigeria and you can make connections, meaningful connections with women who are in Ghana, with women who are in South Africa, with women who are in Egypt, and even across the continent, as far as we're Black or African women. We have a lot of students and we have a lot of community members across and more than 10 countries in the world. We have also outside Africa, Europe, US, and others. If you're part of our global community, you will definitely get access to a lot of benefits. From time to time, we get to give community benefits. Say we are sharing laptops, definitely we won't share laptops to the people who are outside our community. We definitely put the people who are in need of it are in our community first. You also get the access to explore your skills and stretch yourself, participate in global hackathons that can win you recognitions and money. You also have direct access to professional career services. At the end of each cohort, you have access to career services such as your LinkedIn optimization. In my 10 years of career in tech, I have gotten up to 4 jobs from just LinkedIn without even applying. So it's really important that you know how to optimize your LinkedIn. And being a member of Hatechio Academy gives you a direct access to getting your LinkedIn optimized in such a way that recruiters will be reaching out for you without you even applying for these jobs. You also have access to other career services such as your CV tailoring to suit the tech space. A lot of people are transitioning from different other industries like health, medicine, supply chain, events, sports, education, and others. Now, to work in tech, your resume or your CV must be tailored down to fit the tech space. And a lot of you might not know how to do this. This is what our tech trail will do for you. You also gain access to professional mentorship. At the end of your cohort experience, you also have experience and direct access to mentorship from your coaches. We actually select the top students at the end of each cohort for internship opportunities. This will give you the ability to practice your skills and get you started in tech. So these are some of the benefits why you should learn from Hatechio. And I know this makes sense. I'll be handing over to Blessing. I'll be back to talk more on this. But for now, catch you.
Wow, that's a nice one from Gloria. Gloria, thank you very much. I hope you guys heard her and you understood all she said. And I'm sure you guys are going to benefit from this event, from this cohorts. Thank you very much, Gloria. That was a nice one. So I'll be calling on the first speaker of this particular event, of this onboarding, in the person of Wisdom Mukocha. He's the product manager of our tech tree. So I'll be calling on Wisdom to come and give a speech. Hello, Wisdom, are you there? Hello, Wisdom. Hello, Wisdom. Hello, Wisdom. Okay, while we wait on Wisdom, I'll wait for Wisdom to come
Okay,
on board. Hello.
let's introduce Claire. Let's introduce Claire.
All right, all right. Okay, I will introduce Claire. Claire was the best graduating student in the first cohort. She'll be giving her speech now. All right, Claire, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Let me share my screen. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Architectural. And today I'll be talking to you about tips that would help you be successful as a product designer. My name is Chisom Claigwe. I'm a digital product designer. I started my product design journey with Architectural. I think late 2020, and it's been an awesome journey. It's still a journey with them, and it's been awesome, and I've really enjoyed myself. Right now, I'm currently a freelance product designer on Fiverr. Now, I should say that before I started my freelance jobs, before I started getting paid for the jobs that I have been doing, I felt like maybe I couldn't do, like, I wasn't confident enough about my designs. I felt like, would somebody actually pay for these things? I'm saying this because I understand how it feels, especially when you're starting off, how it feels you feel like this my design is ugly, every other person is doing something better, this is what I'm doing. You feel that way once in a while, but you should understand that all you need to do is put in a lot of work. If you put in work, you will see the results. So we'll be talking about tips that will make you a better product designer. Can everybody hear me, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Claire. We can hear
Okay.
you. Go ahead.
So the first thing I would like to advise is to join a community like Architectural, and it's cool. It's a cool thing that you are here already, because joining a community like Architectural will make you meet people like you, people who are enthusiastic about learning too. You get to learn from them. You get to share resources with them and get resources from them too. Gloria has told you lots of things that you can gain from Architectural, and Architectural will be behind you at every step of your journey, because that's how Architectural actually is. And you also get to share the work that you do and get feedback for your work. Now, you can join other communities, like you can join Twitter, for example. Follow people who are already in the product design industry, people who share tips on how to make you a more successful product designer, a better designer. So another thing I would advise is to get an accountability partner. Now, the reason why this is important is that you get to grow with someone. You get to be accountable to somebody. Now, for example, you decide I want to build my portfolio, and you see another person, the other person says they want to build their portfolio too. You get together with the person, and when you get together with the person, you can decide this week we are going to build this part of our portfolio, and you get to share what you have done at the end of the day with the person. Because you know that at the end of the day you are accountable to somebody, you feel more like putting in work and coming out best. You get to grow. That's what getting an accountability partner would do for you. So another one I would say is post your work. Now, this is very, very important, in the sense that even me, when I started, I found it really hard to post my work, because I felt this stuff I did is just horrible. Look at other people's own. My own is horrible and all of that. So I felt bad about posting my work, but at that time we were tasked with posting our work, so I had no choice but to post it. Now, when I post my work on social media, you will see people that would come and tell you that this stuff that you did is good. So you feel more confident that I can actually do this stuff. And the ones that you need to improve on, you see somebody that will tell you could have done this better. Now, next time when you are designing or when you are doing something, you get to think back to what the person said, and you're like, I should do this the other way instead of the way I did it before. So it helps you grow as a designer. Another one will be to get a mentor. Now, I understand when you are starting off learning anything, product design is not an exception. When you're starting off learning anything, you find yourself with too many resources. There are resources coming at you from left, right, center. People are sharing resources up and down. So you feel like, where do I start from? Now, what a mentor could do for you is that they could help you, point you to the right direction that you would follow, show you that this is the path to follow. So instead of going through the rabbit hole of looking at so many resources and never mastering anyone, your mentor or mentors, as case may be, will point you to the right direction, show you that this is the right thing to do, and at the end of the day you end up growing better as a product designer. Now, another one, a lot of people say that you don't have to love your job, that it's just something that you do Monday to Friday and let go. But I'm a strong believer in loving your work, because at the end of the day, you spend a lot of time doing that work. And most of you are just starting this journey. So at a point, you might feel like, why did I even start doing this stuff? Like, this is too hard. Why did I put myself into this thing? One of the things that will keep you going is the fact that you actually love this thing you are doing and want to be better at it. And it's good to enjoy what you do. Makes you feel better enjoying what you do. Another one will be to build a portfolio. So many of you are still starting out, and so you might probably just be doing small projects like 2-3 screens here and there. The advice would be to post on platforms like Behance, Dribble, LinkedIn, Twitter, and even your personal website if you have one. Now, you could post it and write a little thing about the work. But at the end of the day, I would advise that you have a portfolio where you not only post the screens of what you've done, but you tell a story about the work you've done. Why did you decide to add this feature? Why did you decide to add this button here? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? One of the reasons why you do this is so that when you start looking for jobs, a recruiter would see your portfolio, see your process, and see whether you're a good match for them. So even before you meet these people for interviews, they already know the process that you take to do your work. So it gives you a leverage over people who don't have portfolios. Another one would be to learn constantly. So I don't think there's any field where you stop learning. In fact, in life, there's no time you stop learning. Every day is learning day. So what I would advise is that no matter the point where you are in your product design journey, don't stop learning, because when you learn, you improve in your work, and there's always something to improve in. There's always something to improve. So it will be cool to learn. To here on this architectural journey you are starting, you will be given resources. You would get resources from fellow learners. It will be cool to go through them to see what they are saying, so that it will help you improve and become a better designer. And then again, learning is fun if you actually like what you are doing. So finally, I would like to say, be kind to yourself. So there are more than 1,500 people in this cohort. And maybe after 5 to 8 months after this boot camp, some of you will go on to land full-time roles, which is cool, while it will take some others a lot more time to land roles. Now, no matter the place where you belong, you should actually realize that we are all different people with different backgrounds and different realities. Since I'm not the same person with A and you are not the same person with B, since we are different people, it will be cool to remind ourselves of that, to know that you might do better. This person might do this now and I will do this later. And it's fine. It's okay. Just put your best in whatever you are doing. If you put your best in whatever you are doing, believe me, you would actually be good at it. So thanks for listening, everyone. And honestly, this is a lucky opportunity being on the architectural platform, and you should actually leverage it, because to be honest, if you give architectural your best, architectural will give you their best. And I'm glad to welcome you guys to this cohort. Thank you.
Wow, that's an awesome presentation from Claire. Claire, thank you very much. Thank you. We do appreciate it. And I'm sure you guys learned something from her. Claire was the best graduating student from the cohort one. Like Gloria said, we've had the first cohort, second cohort, and you guys are the lucky people to be in the third cohort. So Claire is done with her presentation. We are really glad. Don't worry, questions. I've been seeing questions in the message slide. So question and answer time will come when Claire and every other speaker will answer your questions. So right now, I'll be calling on the next speaker, Wisdom Wokocha, and he's a product manager at a tech tree. So Wisdom, I don't know if you're ready. Wisdom, are you here? Hello, Wisdom, are you here?
Hi,
Hello,
Blessing.
Wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be taking questions. We are gonna be having an icebreaker between now.
Okay.
And so we're gonna be taking some questions. So if you have a question, let me see your hand raised.
All
And
right.
so connect with Claire on Twitter. She's not really the social butterfly, but can learn so much from her work. I think her.
All right, Claire, can you drop your social media handles on the message?
Yeah, so
Alright, let me do
that.
All right, you can join Claire. You can follow her on her social media handles and learn from her work. And you can always connect with her for any other reason. So we'll be taking questions now. So if you have any questions, can you raise your hand? If you have a question, can you raise your hand?
I see Ruth David. Ruth David, you can unmute your mic and ask your question.
All right. Hello, Ruth.
Okay, Ruth David is not here. Can we hear from? Let me open the queue. We have about 20 hands raised. Can we hear from Ukafo Mati? Ukafo Mati, are you here? Hi, Ukafo. So if you do not have any question, please do not raise your hand. We assume that people who are raising their hands have questions. If you do not have any question, can you keep down your hand?
Okay, we have Jay Sinachi. Jay Sinachi, are you ready to ask your question?
A Precious,
you can unmute your mic.
I have a question. Claire said we should post our work. For a data analytics, how would you build your portfolio? Okay, yeah, so this is something that you get to learn in the course of your learning journey in data analytics track. So don't worry, you don't even have any work yet. So the first thing first to actually to get to learn the skills, and then you can have the work. Can now think of how to show the work. But just have it at the back of your mind that you should show your work. And don't actually wait for your work to be perfect or for your portfolio to be amazing or perfect before you start posting it. Your portfolio should be able to tell a story to people like recruiters and organizations. So for instance, the way your portfolio is 2 years ago will be different from how your portfolio will be now. If your portfolio is the same as it was last year, it means that you're not growing. So recruiters and organizations also want to see that progression in your portfolio. They want to see how your today's work is now better than your yesterday's work. So don't wait until your work is perfect. If you wait, there will be no storytelling in your portfolio. There will be no progression in your portfolio. And it will look as if you don't have a growth mindset. So I hope that question has been answered. So is there any other person who has a question? I have 26 hands raised here. Let's hear from, okay, let me just read directly from the chat. Someone says, as a web developer, how do you post your progress as product designers do? So like I said, anything about posting work will be treated when you have the work to post, right? So don't just have patience. Someone says, I would like to know if she came into her tech trail with no experience. Claire, can you answer that question?
Yes, I can. I can answer it. Yes, I came into see the first time I saw product design was from architectural, and I'm not even exaggerating. I came into architectural with zero experience, literally no experience. I hope that answers your question.
Great, great. Thank you, Claire, for that answer.
Yes.
You've heard from Claire. Claire was like a total novice when it comes to design. We trained her from the ground level, and we were able to connect her to her first set of internship. And currently, she's earning in dollars from her Fiverr account. I don't know if Claire, can you share the reviews that you normally get from your Fiverr account? Is it possible?
Let me. You can keep talking. Let me look for it. I don't have to. Yeah.
So she has become so good that in just before 2 years, she's no longer a junior designer. She can now fit into intermediate roles, and before you know it, she will become an advanced product designer. So, like I said, it all starts with you getting started at first. Don't wait till because you feel that time is too long. If she had had that mindset, the way you were starting Cohort, she would have still been there. She wouldn't have been where she is today. So I see a lot of questions here. I think we'll have to limit questions. And I'm also seeing we have some questions from YouTube. So I'm gonna ensure that I get to capture from everywhere. Okay. So what is a portfolio and how is a portfolio built? Is it just about compiling all your work in one file? Okay, I'll have one of the coaches answer this question. So Melody Mokocha is a professional product designer, and I think he's on the call. Melody, are you on the call?
Yeah. Hi guys. Hi everyone.
Awesome, great. So please help us answer that question. What is a portfolio and how is a portfolio built?
Okay, so a portfolio generally is where you showcase your work, works you've done so far, maybe as you're learning. So a portfolio, you can just have some information about you, and a portfolio is where you get to feature some of your best projects. So maybe when you start looking for roles in companies, you can decide to be a portfolio, and then put out information about you, like works you've done, from end-to-end products, basically. So a portfolio is basically where you get to feature your work and have like a view for clients to contact you if they want to hire you. So it's very important that you give time to work on your portfolio.
That person, can you mute your mic? Gloria, can you mute the person talking, please?
Please, can you mute your mic? So I hope you heard what Melody said about portfolio building. So basically, portfolio is a repository where you keep all the works that you have done. I will have you look at Claire's portfolio. Claire, have you been able to find it?
I have it. I have my Fiverr open now.
Okay.
Let me share it.
Before she shares it, Melody is one of your coaches and you can connect with him on Twitter. Melody, you can just share your Twitter handle on the chat. So yeah, Claire, can go ahead. Claire, we can't see your screen. Hi, Claire.
Sorry, my system was hanging. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah. Okay. So you can just scroll through the reviews. So I think Melody has dropped his handle. Please, you can connect with him. For those of you who are going to be in the design track, he's going to be one of your coaches.
Ma, would we be taught how to build our Fiverr account?
Yes, you will.
You can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So this is the last one I got. So these are my reviews, actually. They're all 5-star reviews. So that's it.
Awesome. Just give me 1 minute. I'm trying to. Okay. So I'm going to be taking about 3 more questions before we move over to the next speaker.
Good morning, ma'am. Please, how long will the internship last for, and can someone change his or her course?
Is our what?
The course, like from UI UX to probably product manager.
Yeah. So we thought about it, and we see that some people are trying to change their courses. Their tracks. But what will happen is after this event, we pass a form. So there will be a limit to the number of changes we can accept because we have a lot of work to do. So we don't keep focusing on that, and there will be a time limit to that as well. So we can say 4 hours. The people who are able to fill their form, the first 20 people who are able to fill forms, these are the people that will be attended to. So yeah. Hope that your question has been answered. So is there any other person who has a question?
And how long will it? How many months will the program take?
So depending on the company, it normally lasts 3 months to 6 months. Right? Okay, let's hear from another person.
Hi. Can I quickly ask, the top 10, is it you taking the top 10 as the whole cohort, or you just taking top 10 from each course?
Top 10 cohorts exactly, if I can get you right.
Okay, so you said after 2 months you take top 10 students and you allocate them internship, if I heard you right.
No, so I wasn't referring to the internship. I was referring to the people who want to change their tracks. So for the internships, it doesn't have a number limit. So depending on how much requests we get from companies, that will determine how many people get involved. It normally starts from the top students. So if we have 50 top students and we have 100 requests, it means that we're going to exhaust the 50 and still go further to the other top 40. I don't know if this makes sense.
Okay, yes, it makes sense. You answered my question. Thank you.
Good morning.
Great.
I'd like to know if project management and product management are the same, and if not, is project management a thing in IT sector?
Please, can you come again?
Please, I would like to know if project management and product management are the same. No, I want to ask if project management is a thing in the IT sector.
Okay. So another thing that we'll be dealing with here is trying to get people's parts clear, because some people want to learn UI UX. They don't even know why they want to learn UI UX. They don't know what UI UX is all about. So, for instance, a lot of people in this program, a lot of people project management as product management and vice versa. So product management and project management are not really the same. I actually have experience in both, but they are not really the same. Although some of them, some of the skill sets required can be interwoven, but in itself, they are different tracks or they are different parts. And in her tech currently, we are not offering project management. We are only offering product management for now. So project management is more of management of resources and resources that make the project a success. For instance, in a software project, the kind of resources that you'll be needing is time, labor, as in human labor, financial costs, and all of that. So these are resources. So a project manager manages these resources and make sure that the project is actually ready when it's supposed to be ready, or even before when it's supposed to be ready, and with little or no risk. So, software products require a lot of financial costs. It runs into millions of dollars or even millions of naira, depending on the country that you're in. Now, to actually manage these projects are very hard. To make sure that you build you align teams together to build these projects into completion is a very hard task to do. So the project manager is the one who oversees this, and make sure that the project is completed with little or no risk. So that's it for the project manager. For the product manager is more of on the user side. So the product manager represents the users of that product. So let's say, for instance, you're managing a product that has to do with food ordering. For instance, the Uber Eats. So there's a product team behind that product, and they have different product managers depending on the features, because that is, of course, a very large product. Now, the product manager makes sure that whatever feature that is being built into that product is actually exactly what the user needs. Now, why is it really important for you to build what the user needs? It's important because if you do not build what the user needs, the business goals for that product will not be fulfilled, and the product goal will not be achieved basically. So the product manager ensures that the product is successful, bearing in mind the user and the business goals. I hope this answers the question. So
Please, is a PC for product manager?
Maybe
sorry,
data
I
analysis.
didn't
So,
talk. Sorry.
okay,
Ma,
good
I said,
afternoon.
is a
So I want to know, I thought
needed
I
for product
wanted to
manager?
study data analysis. So I want to know how it can be applied in my field of study, which is agriculture.
Okay, so when you get into data analytics, we are not actually doing the classes here. The classes have not started. This is just your onboarding. When you get into data analytics, you will learn all these things. Anything that requires like specific um, knowledge to the track that you have chosen, you will learn all these things. You have a whole 2 month plus to learn all these things. So don't rush. I know your blood is hot, but you have a lot of
And
time to learn this.
okay, sorry. And is there any points that the class will be physical class? We could always do
No,
it online.
our classes are 100% remotely.
Okay.
This helps us to, focus and target a lot of women that are not even in Nigeria, and they are all over the places. They are all over the world. So I think
Hi,
someone else.
Gloria. Hi.
Sorry,
Ma,
ma.
that
Please, I have a question. I've been
be
reading my
needed
notes.
for a product manager. The PC
Sorry,
needed for product. The PC is essential tool for product manager.
I can't hear you.
I said the PC an essential tool for a product manager.
Your voice is breaking. I think your network is bad.
Hi, Gloria. Can you hear me?
Hello, ma.
Question on the chat. So when you're talking and you see that someone else is talking, you just pause, please, so that the place is organized.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, please. My question is, web designing and web development. Is there a difference between the two?
Yeah, there is. So for web
Okay.
design is mostly on the no code area. Now, it can also contain code, in the sense that if you're designing you're designing a website, it doesn't necessarily need so much functionalities. But once you start the development aspect where you add functionalities, the site will no longer be a static site, it now becomes a dynamic website. So some examples of dynamic websites are things like Facebook, right? Now, if you're a web designer, you're just going to be working on the aspect of the web that does not have it like does not have you're not working on the functionality, you're just working on the design. I don't know if this makes sense. But once you start adding functionalities, like okay, if I fill a form, I want it to be submitted. If I'm trying to fill a form and my email address is not correct, I want to get an error. So these things are interactivities. Um, these things are like functionalities that differentiate a dynamic website from a static website. So for a web designer, you mostly work in the static part of the website. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I'll be checking if our next. Excuse me. Please,
I have a question.
is here. Mercy, are you here? Hi, Mercy. Okay. I will wait for Mercy to come along. I'll be inviting Alex. Alex is the director of design in her tech trail, and he's also the lead coach for design. He'll be telling us career opportunities. A lot of you have a lot of questions, so his session is going to be asking a lot of questions. Career opportunities in design and even beyond design, and the kind of opportunities you start to get access to when you're in these industries. So Alex, welcome.
Okay,
hi Alex.
Yeah, hi, thanks Gloria. And okay, so I have some questions from the YouTube channel, but I've just been answering them via text. So if you have, or if you dropped a question, let me just go through. Okay, so if you have a question, how I see like so many hands like raised. If you have a question, please just unmute your mic and let's hear you, please.
Hello, Alex. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you, Alex. Go ahead.
Okay, great.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
we can.
Yeah, great. I'm waiting for your question. So just give me like the next 5 minutes to answer some questions.
Okay, so you can ask a question now.
Okay, so while we are waiting for some persons to drop their question, just to give you more like a heads up on like what we'll be doing in our tech trail. If you're in the UI and UX design track or in the product design track, we have like an introductory course where you have to like watch to get yourself up to speed with what we'll be learning. And one thing with design or like breaking into like the tech field, like it's not rocket science. So if you're in if you're in web development, if you're in UI and UX design, if you're data analytics, if you're also in web design, like all this stuff are not like rocket science. The people who have actually like broken into tech, able to like scale through. They're able to scale through. So even you, if you're having like self-doubt or you're feeling maybe this is not like my place or something, like in her tech trade we'll have a place for you. All you have to do is for you to keep an open mind and have just keep an open mind to learning. And it all depends on your commitment. So if you're given assignments or you're given some tasks to do, one of the things that actually help you through is your level of commitment. I started my tech journey that was 2019, and I'd say one of the things that helped me through is my curiosity to always learn new stuff. So even after you finishing or graduating from architecture academy, the learning does not stop here. You have to like keep learning and keep learning. I see some hands raised. Ruth, do you want to say something?
Alex, we
Hi,
can hear
Alex.
you. Are you there?
Yes, yes, I am.
Coming back to Alex in a short while. Alex, we'll be coming back to you in a very
Awesome.
short while. We have another speaker on set. Her name is Mercy Marcus. Mercy Marcus is a software engineer at Microsoft, and yeah, I think I've met her physically just once when.
Um, Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Merci, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mercy. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry, I was muted. So, Mercy, please take the floor.
okay. Hi everyone, I'm Mercy and I am happy to be here. Like Gloria said, we met quickly, I think in about like around 2019 or so. It was a nice encounter. I was more than happy to come back here to give you a short talk. So let me share, I have a few slides that I would work with. So let me just share that and then let's see. Having presents now. Right. So I'm assuming you can see my slides. Can I get confirmation that you can see my slides, please? I am sharing right now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Slideshow. All right. So my name is Mercy and I am a software engineer at Microsoft. But I wasn't always a software engineer. I've been a software engineer for around a year right now. Prior to being a software engineer, I was a data scientist. And before then, I studied civil engineering in school. So I think I can speak about people from non-traditional backgrounds taking interest in tech or software engineering or software development, because this has been my own career progression so far. I didn't study computer science or computer engineering in school. Right now, I'm practicing or I'm working as a software engineer. So yeah, short, but then there will be a lot of time. There'll be some time for questions. But I broke it down into 3 parts, and I think the first part is something that doesn't apply to just software engineering, but I feel like it's very important in tech. And these are like the soft skills that, like outside of the technical knowledge that you're learning or that you know, there are things that will help guide your career and just your life in that role generally, and to really help you keep progressing. Because it's not the easiest thing to do. That's being in tech space. It can be daunting. It can be difficult. But then there are things that if you have them at the back of your mind, they'll guide you on how to keep at it and keep going despite the difficulties you might face. And yeah, so the first thing which I think is most important is curiosity. Like you need to be curious enough to keep learning. You need to be curious enough to know more. Tech space is a space where every day new things are coming up, new technologies are being built. It can be a lot, can be very overwhelming. So I forgot to add that you should also focus on what is more or most important to you. It's very easy to get distracted in tech space. Like you wake up and you're hearing about trees, NFTs, and all of that stuff, and you're just here, like just learning your HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and it's not even making any sense yet to you. And then people out there with more experience are just talking about these other technologies that are supposed to be the future and are supposed to be revolutionary. But yeah, that's another thing that you should also invite. Just try to narrow down one or two things that you want to focus on per time, because there's a lot to learn. If you divide your time and attention into too many things, in the end, you can't really see compounded progress from doing all those things. Like it's better for you to stick to one thing per time, and then you can see yourself actually grow. You can see yourself actually learning and applying those skills properly. So I guess the first two things, curiosity and then also focus. So the next one will be like the talk is a little generalist because I feel like when I was a data scientist, these soft skills also apply to like all of them. So this is not just for software engineers in house or software developers in house, and this is for everyone who is trying to learn a tech skill or is learning a tech skill or is currently in a tech space. This will guide your progression. So problem solving and logical thinking. So we work with computers, and computers do not think the way we do. Like it's very thorough. So your things are they're the ones that tell computers what to do and how to do it. So you'd have to figure or learn how to think in that way. Like it's different from how humans think. So learning how to solve problems and not just solving problems. So you can solve problems in different ways, but they are usually more optimal and better suited solutions to specific problems. So over time, you can start with just learning how to find one solution to a problem, and then over time you keep developing your skills, and then you find out the more optimal way or better ways or multiple ways of solving a particular problem. So learning about data structures, which I know many people will have heard of by now, and algorithms is one thing that helps hone your problem solving skills. So the more you understand how to think algorithm, we basically think like how like thinking in the sense of the algorithms, that would like probably help you in tackling problems that you face day to day. Like being in tech space is basically you solving problems. That's literally what you're doing. So the end goal is usually solving problems for a group of people, but then in the minute detail as well, you're solving little problems as you go. And then you'd most likely work as a part of a team. You're not going to build anything in isolation. Any software that is built by just one person, I don't think I would trust that, because that person is going to put all their biases and are built by multiple people. Because if you're expecting multiple people to use your product, then obviously you should have like different kinds of people also working on your product. So you can start out solo, to be honest, because sometimes it's hard to find other people to build with. But as you grow, I feel like it's important to invite other people to help out and to properly refine the product. So this point just ties into how it's important to be a team player. You are not it's not a one-man show. Like you guys are here together, and you don't necessarily have to be a part of a team to be a team player. Being a team player can involve, like, this is a community. Architecture is a community, and you have community members here. You can see them as team players. Like, you guys are all here with the same purpose and the same goal. You want to learn. You want to develop yourself. You want to whatever you're here to, I guess, to take out from the community, you should see yourself as a part of the team. So learn how to contribute to the team, so help people develop the community, and also the most important thing about being a part of community is giving back. So when you have taken from the community, you should always try to give back as much as you've taken, if not even more, so that other people can also benefit. And so that basically over time the community is growing, and then it's still here in years to come. And then the next thing will be your attention to detail. This one is very important in building products, like not only good products, but products uh, that are not too buggy, that don't frustrate people. So you download apps, and then you see that even to sign in is even difficult. Like they will not send you the OTP, or just things are not really working well. And I'm not saying that it's always because people were not detail oriented, but a lot of these things can fall into the cracks. And when you're not detail oriented, you might gloss over these things, or you might not give them as much attention as you should, and you're going to frustrate your end users in the end. So you have to really take note of these things while you're learning, while you're building, and even while you're interacting with people, to be honest. And tying to what I said earlier, it is going to be difficult. Like especially if you're just a newbie, which I assume a lot of people on call are, this is your, like you've not done this ever, and you are basically learning new skills. Like you have to educate yourself. You have guidance definitely from this community and other online communities, but still, a lot of it is going to be you doing the heavy lifting. So you have to be mentally strong. You have to brace yourself for challenges that are going to come, because they are going to keep coming. Like even as someone who is a little bit more experienced, like in software engineering, I'm like 1 year in, I can see that every day my so they keep coming. Like that's basically what you're hired to do. They're hired to solve problems. So problems will keep getting thrown at you. So you have to have that mental grit. You have to persist, and then you also have to be patient to yourself. To be honest, because like I said, this is all new to you. You can't learn anything that is worth learning in a very short period of time. Whatever that is worth learning will actually take you a while to learn. Like it doesn't even have to be worth learning. Like learning generally is not the easiest thing. Because sometimes the previous things you've learned can be hindrances to the new things that you're supposed to learn. But yeah, that's also a very important soft skill to have. And the one that this one translates or transcends any field possible, written and verbal communication. Like you're not building things in isolation, you're building things that interface with other, like people use these things. You're communicating to them so and so with your product, with your feature. So outside of doing that to your customers, you're also doing that across your team too as well. So the other stakeholders on the team, your teammates, you guys would have to figure out or learn how to communicate effectively so that context is not lost and you guys actually focus on the same goal. Like it's very possible for someone in say the same team, like there's a problem and then you guys are misinterpreting the problem and providing different solutions to that same problem when there should be a unified solution, and you guys should things that I think are very important. There are a lot of career paths, to be honest. Like this is not an exhaustive list. Off the top of my head, it's are things that I read. So for the engineering side of things, engineering is a little broad. So you have software engineering, cloud engineering, data engineering, DevOps, machine learning. Like all of these are things that you can do if you're more technical. Like if you're interested in technical skills. So say you want to learn a program, like I think one thing I should have mentioned earlier is that not everyone in tech space needs to write code. Like I don't even think it's wise for everyone in tech space to write code because there are so many other things that are just as important as actually building those softwares and those tools. So if you're interested in being in the more technical side of things, yeah, then you can take a look at the engineering career options that are available to you. And then for products management, like I call them the glue of the tech world, because they are like the ones who liaise with everyone else. And sorry, there's someone whose mic is on. It's kind of interrupting my flow. Hoping it can be muted or something. Thank you. So for the products management side of the things, like I was saying, they're like we glue of it. So thanks to them, we have like they basically keep everyone on track and ensure that um, the right things are getting built. And yeah, that's basically how I would describe what the products managers are responsible for. Then we have the developer advocates. These guys are there to ensure that the developers have the right tools, and they also what's the word, advocates, no, advocate, they like evangelize, yeah, that's what I wanted to say, about new tech. So most times when you hear about new technology or new things that have been built, it's most likely from a developer advocates. Like companies usually work with them to help push their products out there so that it has more reach and more people are able to use them. Then we have people who are interested in technical writing and content creation. So this can be I say, is software, not necessarily soft planning, but it's also a very important skill to have. So most of those blog posts you read when you're stuck or when you're trying to debug with videos or podcasts, they're usually created by technical writers or content creators, and they're a very they're much needed part of the tech ecosystem, because thanks to them we're able to unblock ourselves when we have issues, get answers to our questions, get some guidance, see how industry experts do it, like thanks to them. And then we have the technical recruiters. These are people who have knowledge of the tech space, so they know what to look out for when they're hiring. They know how to source for the best candidates for particular roles. So this is also one thing you can go into if you're interested. And then we have the QA engineers. These are people who are responsible for testing and ensuring that standards are being met, and help, and they also instruct people on how to fix particular problems that are encountered in a piece of software or something like that. Yeah, this is not an extensive list. I do it in there. And then there are general tips that I think will guide you. They tie into the first slide. Let curiosity guide you. Like I keep saying it, curiosity is like the day you start being curious will probably be, I think should probably that the day you start being curious about the tech space, that should probably signal to you that you're no longer interested in learning, and it applies to other things as well. Like once you've lost that curiosity and you're just running on rides, I don't know. I feel like you should have a think about why you're actually doing that particular thing. You should also leverage your strengths. So things that might be easier for you could be difficult for certain people. So I think you should look inwards and think about you do effortlessly or with slightly less effort, and then you should walk that path and see where it leads you, because that's what I literally did. Like I knew that I was what's the word, curious enough about data, and I also had that analytic mind as well. So that's why I took my first path as a data scientist, and then every other thing that I have gone into is also because of curiosity and seeing that okay, I'm actually good at this. I can be I'm interested in getting good at this. And then yeah, every part can actually be daunting. Like I won't say difficult, because difficult is it can be a deterring word, but every part can be daunting. So you have to pick the one that you want to go on and stick with. And it's also very okay to change, like switch from one place to another once you have new information, or when you see that okay, this thing might actually not be for me, like it doesn't feel right. It's okay to change, I advise you to not change too frequently and to give yourself some time to actually see. This might just be very difficult in the beginning, but maybe the issue was that you were not with a community of learners, so things were more difficult. But if you're in a community, it helps, to be honest. And then the next one is to do it afraid. So there are things that you would be scared to do, but I'll still advocate for you doing it. Like when I switched to software engineering, I did not really. It was not a career path I was like I had planned for myself. I didn't think I was going to. A role opened up and I applied and I got it. And I was scared to do it, but I still did it anyway. And no regrets 1 year later.
But the thing is that
the next one is your competition. So it's very easy to be online, see other people's stories and their progression, and then compare yourself to them. But you have to remember that you don't have the full context of their lives, of their stories, of their journeys. You don't know the amount of work that they put into getting to where they are. You don't know. There's just so much that you don't know, and I feel like it's a disservice to yourself if you compare yourself to other people because you don't know all of those things. So you should be your own competition. Try to be better than you were the last day, the last month, the last year. Just keep on improving yourself and using yourself as a yardstick for what growth is. So are you doing things some problems quicker? Just things like that would help guide you. And then you should learn from everyone, especially your peers. I feel like learning from your peers is a very accessible way to learn. Like you don't have to look for mentors or you don't have to chase people around to teach you stuff. Like there are so many people just sharing knowledge freely out there. You can learn from them. You don't need to go to experts. Like you can learn from them, but also it's very easy to learn the wrong things as well. So fact check, do more research, ensure that you're not actually being misdirected. And then you should be diligent. It takes time. Like it's going to take time, but just be on the course and be kind to yourself and set realistic goals. Don't say that in 3 months I want to be a badass software developer. Like, it'll most likely not happen. You can say that, and if you're able to do it, good. That's like a plus to you. But for the most part, like no one is going to become a badass software engineer or developer in 3 months. Like it's physically, you have other things to do. If you're keeping long hours, it will be very difficult to do. But the last one would be that you should actually decide to start this new journey. Do you want to, like, the more popular reason is to make money, which is a other one would be to help people. Whatever your reason is, just keep remembering your reason while like even when you have difficulties and challenges, because it's helping you stay motivated and you would be less likely to give up. This is like the end. The next is we have some time for anyone who has questions. I think I stopped sharing my slides and check if there are questions from in the chat box. But so far so good. This is all I have to share. Please ask questions.
So I have a question.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, you said that we should have a reason so that like we can keep going. Do you mind if I ask you what is your own reason that kept you going?
So, okay. My reason, like when I started out was, so my reason dates back to when I was an intern on the construction field. So that was like my 300 level and 400 level. I was on a construction site. I was under the sun. Like it was just difficult. Like I didn't enjoy. I thought it was something I would enjoy doing, but I really did not enjoy my time as a construction intern. It was hard work and it was very manual and repetitive work. Like what you do today, you do the exact thing tomorrow, the next day, the next day. Like it was just the same drudgery of working in that space. So my initial reason was to stop doing repetitive things. So I was like, no, there are better ways to do things. I want to be in a space where I can automate things, where I can have computers do things for me. So that was my initial reason, to learn how to instruct computers to do what I don't want to do. So that's why I was like, okay, let me just go learn how to do this first, and then make my life easier. So that's like my major reason. I guess you'd say to not do manual work and to outsource difficult parts of my life to a computer.
Wow,
And
that's
because like what excites me the most is like I like scripting. That's like one side of writing programs I actually enjoy. So short form scripts that do specific things that or ideally can be very repetitive. So yeah, that's like what I enjoy doing the most. Scripting.
I have a question, please.
Sure.
For someone who's just starting out in tech, what course do you think will be suitable for the person? Like someone that doesn't have any knowledge background.
For someone who has no knowledge whatsoever, I would advise you take a course that just breaks down. It doesn't have to be a course; it can be a YouTube video. There are a bunch of them online. Just learn about your possible options before you even decide on which one to take, because you will pick out a few things from those videos that you can be able to relate to yourself and say, okay, I think because they say someone in data science, this skill will be very helpful for them. I can do this, so I think I can go into data science. Just things like that. Without having full context about you as a person, like you're the one who, you and the resources out there would be how you can decide to learn what you want to do. So there's no go start with web development, go start with technical writing. I feel that's like a recipe for failure because I don't have the full context. But you'd have to do the research, how the skills that you have as a person can fit in. And if you can't highlight those things, you can just start in one place and see where that leads you, to be honest. Like, I'm a very it's a journey, so take it step by step kind of person. I don't know if I answered this question well enough because I didn't give a specific thing to go learn.
No, Mercy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mercy. Is there any other question for Mercy?
Yes, please. There's
All right,
one
go
question.
ahead.
I have a
All right, go
question.
ahead.
Is
All right,
data
Mercy.
science and data analysis the same?
You all can't be asking questions at the same time. Hello. Okay, go ahead.
Mercy, good afternoon. Thank you for everything you said. My question is, what is the hardest thing or that you have had to overcome in the whole process? Sometimes I'm thinking, okay, you want to have data to research, or is it going to be time to find to do it? Or is it going to be a point where I lose enthusiasm? What has been the hardest thing for you and how did you overcome it? Thank you.
So I missed out the first part, but what I heard was what has been the hardest part for you, and what else?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. So my question is, I said, sometimes I'm thinking, what could be a major obstacle for me? Would it be finding data to do my research, or would it be finding time, or would it be getting to a point where I lose enthusiasm? What has been the hardest part for you, and how did you overcome it in terms of just regular everyday life?
I think the hardest part for me has been that it keeps feeling like I've had like three switches, like three moving from. So I started out as a data scientist, and then I moved to cloud engineering and data engineering for a short while, and then I moved to software engineering. So on every of those moves, it has felt like starting at the like has felt like another starting line, and starting can be daunting. So there's usually that period where I feel like I question myself, and I wonder, okay, why did you actually even do this switch? Like, this is difficult. But then after a while, like, because I've had those switches frequently, or I've had
Hello, Mercy. Are you there? Hello, Mercy. Hello. Can anyone hear her?
No, I can't hear her again.
No, I can't.
Okay. Let's hold on. I think she's having a network issue.
You are stealing for you want to go and
You can't hear.
Can you mute your mic,
Sorry,
please?
my network has been.
All right. Welcome, Mercy. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, sorry about the disconnect. LinkedIn has been moving around lately. But yeah, I was saying that for every time that I'm faced with, it feels like I'm back at the starting line and I'm back to doing something difficult. I know that it's just my mind just not wanting to do the work and not wanting to, just not wanting to do work. Like it's difficult starting, and yeah, it's difficult, but it has to be done at least for growth to happen. So that's like one challenge that I have seen reoccur. The other things would just be like the day-to-day issues, like imposter syndrome. Like one thing that's helped me manage this is that I see people with 20 years of experience still tweeting about feeling like they have imposter syndrome. So it feels like it's a mindset thing, and it's something that you would have to fix mentally. So this is one thing that stopped holding on to. I just see it as like instead of saying that, oh, I have imposter syndrome, find a particular thing where you feel inadequate and working on that particular thing. So do I feel like I'm not as good at something, and that's where I'm feeling like an imposter? You can just pick that, and I feel like any small progress you make takes you a step away from feeling that way. And what else? The other ones, like problems that I'm still trying to dealing with, is finding that work-life balance. So it's work can get so exciting that you actually forget to have a life, and that's one thing that I'm still learning, and I'm still working on. So I me and things like that. But yeah, these are like the few problems. The rest of it is like can be things that are out of your control, but you still find a way to work around those ones as well.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Okay, please hold on. Mercy has somewhere to be, but I don't know. Mercy, questions?
Yeah, I can take 2 more questions by.
Okay,
All right,
please.
fine.
So let's have just
Okay.
some more questions before she leaves.
And
Yeah, I would like to ask
thank you.
question.
So I'll speak. Hi. So really, my journey. I actually just want to transition into tech. I'm not feeling that exact emotion like, oh, I'm passionate about it. I'm going to be realistic. I'm not.
Hello, peace. Okay, I think I have Ruth David. She raised her hand. Ruth David, can you ask your question?
Sorry, my network cut off again. I didn't hear you. What was the question, please? Last time I heard was I'm of the opinion that I can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, you started out as a data scientist, right? Please, how long were you in data science? Like, how long did you do it? And how was the journey for you, basically? So that's my question.
Okay, so I was in data science for almost 2 years. It was, I think, like 1 year, 9 months ish or thereabouts. My experience was, I'd say that after a while, I wanted to move on to doing something else. Like, it's the parts of the job that excited me were not core data science, or like the things that, like I mentioned earlier, like the scripting bit of it. You don't have to, like, scripting is just a small part of it, and then the cloud part of it, because I was fortunate enough to be in a company where I was responsible for moving, or I was able to, or I had the privilege of working on GCP, that Google Cloud Platform, and then I learned how to do things there, and I learned a bit about cloud engineering as well as a result of being a data scientist. So I realized that those things were more exciting for me than actual building models, or I still enjoy, like, I still enjoy the analytic part of it. Like I said earlier, still, like, know yourself, like, know what excites you and what you're more interested in. So when I noticed that this part of the job was giving me more joy than this other part of the job, that's when I decided to start working towards switching. So I actually took a certification exam that helped me, like, what's the word? That helped me learn a lot more about GCP. It was the Associate Cloud Engineering certification. It's a really good certification to just learn about GCP and how it works. Azure also has different certifications. I think even AWS still has them. So that was like my transitionary period, just learning about the cloud and deciding to take these certifications. I think that's one of the things that even made me feel confident to apply as a software engineer, because a number of the job like the items listed out in the job description was just working in cloud. I hope I answered your question well.
Yes, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mercy. I think we have more one question for you. So we have who raising hands. Anyone to ask another question? Any other question?
Yes, I would like to ask.
All right. Okay, Missy, you have to take the last question from her. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Please, I have a
Like,
question.
I would like to ask if there's difference between data analysis, data science, and data engineering. And I would like to ask if there's difference. Are they the advanced stages of data analysis? Like, is data science and data engineering the advanced stages for data analysis? That's my question.
So reiterate. So you said you want to know the difference between data science, data analytics, and data engineering, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll start with data analytics. So you can think of a data analyst as someone who is more concerned with analyzing trends that in data, sharing the insights that they get from this using visualization tools, and then also using that information to solve business problems. So you can think of it as an inner circle, and then you can think of data science as encompassing data analytics with more things involved in it. So for data analytics, you can be a data analyst without knowing how to maybe use Python, or use a machine learning framework like TensorFlow or PyTorch or any of those things. But as a data scientist, your work is basically in knowing how to do the work of a data analytics, at least some of the work of a data analytics. And then alongside that, you should also be able to use statistics and other mathematical modeling knowledge to use those insights from the data and then build on that. So the end goal for a data sciences work usually is to apply it in machine learning. So building machine learning models that would help with a specific task or help make inferences. Say you want to predict the prices of houses over the course of or in a particular area or something like that using specific data points. Maybe how big is the house? Does the house have a gate? Does it have a fence? Just using different data points to make those kinds of predictions. And then, yeah, for data engineering, they're kind of a little bit outside of this circle. So they're like by the side. So they're responsible for getting data to data analytics and data science and data science. And when I say getting data, I don't mean, what I mean by getting data is that they build the pipelines. So they basically build the channels that data move from software to people who need the data. So say you have an app like, let's see, I say like a store, like Jumia now, you have Jumia. And on Jumia, you can add an order to your cart, you can data analytics. They would want that e-commerce data that maybe can help them answer questions at the people that shop the most, who are these people actually buy. The data engineers are responsible for finding out how to get this data from the app to the people who need data. So just build like pipelines basically. Just think of them as like I think of them as plumbers in the data space, and they basically build those pipelines that move data from place to place. And they also not just moving the data, but also ensure that the data is optimized and in the right format for the people who need it. That's like the high level way to think about it. It's there's more detail involved, or there's more work involved. But yeah, I see a question in chat box. I think I can quickly answer right now. Is it necessary for one to have knowledge of data analysis for learning software development? No, it's not. They're separate fields. You can leverage the skills you have as a data analyst in software development, like I have done before. Like I got looked into a call to help with some data questions. But outside of that, to be honest, you actually don't need data analysis to do software development or software development to do data analysis. But the sweet part about tech is that you can leverage skills, and the skills are usually transferable. So being a software developer and moving into data analysis or data science or machine learning is actually going to give you an upper hand compared to someone who is just starting out from scratch.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mercy. So if you have any other question, you have to follow her. Her handle is on the message box. Follow her on her social media handles. You can further ask her questions from there. Okay, Gloria just pasted her handle. Thank you so much, Mercy. We are grateful. We appreciate you being here. Okay, I'll be calling on Gloria Ojuku to speak with us.
Sorry,
Gloria,
my network popped up again. Sorry that the last part of what I said was basically non-audible.
I think we heard you. Okay.
We're done. But I thought we actually heard you.
We heard you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. They'll follow you up on your social media handles and ask you questions if they have any. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
We also connect with Mercy. Mercy was actually very, very busy today. Like, I mean, software engineers are always busy. She was able to, squeeze out time, to come and be here with us. So, kudos to you for staying to this point. But so much thank you to Mercy. Connect with her on Twitter and on LinkedIn with that name, Mercy Marcos. I've already pasted her Twitter handle on the chat. So Mercy, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll meet again next time.
All right, thank you for having me. I'll drop a link to the slides in the chat box in case anyone wants to go back to that.
Great. That would be so much appreciated.
Okay.
Are you saying something?
Oh no, I just said bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, so how are you enjoying this the webinar? Is it boring? Is it interesting? Let me get from you. What are your feedbacks like?
I think it's been great, ma'am. Thank you for organizing the session. Although I've seen in the comments session that a lot of people are commenting about digital marketing. They're not getting anything on digital marketing. So you could also look into that. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share a life cycle of product development. So you see how everybody fits into developing a software product. So I'm gonna share my screen. So in the course of this, I'm gonna touch a bit about digital marketers. So just give me a minute. Let me come up with my screen. Yeah, just give me a minute. You have a question? Oh, I didn't get you. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet, Gloria. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so forget about the title of this image, just focus on the image itself. We're going to let you know how all the amazing products you see out there, the amazing products, the amazing applications like Facebook, PiggyBest, Bamboo, different industries. It could be social, it could be fintech, it could be education apps, Like I said, tech is the only industry that allows you to be in tech and still explore other industries. So all those applications, this is the process it takes for it to come into play. And whosoever you are in this cohort, whether you're a digital marketer, you're a developer, you're a designer, you have a role to play in this. So it's good you know where you fit in and what you're expected to do. So normally, an idea, all these products you see out there normally start with what we call the idea, right? The ideation phase. And the person who normally is in charge of, making sure that the ideas are gathered, the person who we call the product manager. Also, project managers can also share in this role. Now, the ideas can come in several ways. As you can see in the image, can come from the product if it is already an existing product. So it could be from user feedbacks that are already coming from the product, because when you launch your product, you start getting either feedbacks, suggestions, or complaints from the users. So these are the things that will give you ideas on how to direct the product. So once you have the idea, you can start either iterating to make the product better if it is an existing feature. But for products that are not existing, you can get ideas from your stakeholders. So let's say, for instance, we have a product team in Microsoft, for instance, and let's say, okay, let me not use Microsoft, let me use Facebook, the one that we are all familiar with. Facebook has a feature called the like button. There's a product team behind the like button that, okay, when you're happy, when someone makes a post and you love the post, you can react with it with a love emoji, right? When someone says something that pisses you off, you can basically react with an angry emoji. When someone is going through something, and you have empathy for the person, you can react with the sadness emoji, right? So before this thing, when Facebook came out, it wasn't like this. The product team typically were iterating based on user feedbacks, based on insights gathered from the users. And they kept iterating it until the way it is now. When Facebook came out, it wasn't the way it is currently. So that's why I said the ideas can come from either the feedbacks of the users. It can also come from your stakeholders. Now, your stakeholders are the people who you work with. So if you're a product manager, your stakeholders can be the UI designer, the web developer, the idea, and research whether the user would really need it, right? Remember when Mercy was saying, she explained that product managers, make sure that the right things are being built. So how does he or she do this? You need to do the research from the users and make sure that they actually need it. So you now see how ideas can come from stakeholders and users, and it can even come from leadership. In this case, the leadership of Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg. So Mark Zuckerberg can say, oh, we need to build this. I think this is something that we need to build. Now, even as much as Mark is the leader, that doesn't mean that everything he says has to be built. The product manager still has to research and make sure that what Mark has said is needed by the users before they can now start building. So these are various ways ideas can come. It can also come from the product manager, because the product manager is actually the one who identifies these problems, right? So this is how ideas are being exposed. So once you have someone's mic is open, can you mute your mic, please? Okay, thank you. So once you have these ideas, you keep it in a backlog. The product manager is in charge of this backlog. He or she says, okay, in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna be focusing on it to be built. Remember, the product team, does the research, and the person who is actually core in the research phase are the researchers. Now, if you're going to be learning UI UX or product design in this cohort, you might be closer to user research as well, because UI designers, UX designers, product designers are meant to do research. Now, the good thing about tech is, like Mercy said, what you started with is not what you end. It might not be what you end up with, but the good thing is, whatever you start with will definitely serve as an idea repository or a knowledge repository for you in your next role. Let's say, for instance, you start out as a UI UX designer. If you want to transition into UX research, it will be very easy for you, because you've already known how to work with users, even as a product designer. A lot of people started out as web developers, but today they are writing technical articles. Some of them are documentation officers. Now, if you do not understand how the web works, you cannot write an article for a web platform. You cannot be a developer advocate for a web product if you have never been in the web. If you don't, this doesn't necessarily mean that you must have to start out being a web developer. But I'm just saying that it will give you an edge over someone who just started out as a developer advocate. The person has a larger learning curve to deal with than you, who already knows the domain knowledge, right? So this is how, these things work. So you see that there is user research, and user researchers, the product designers, the product managers, I refer to them as the frontiers. They are the ones who play a lot with the idea and make it tangible before the development team can now start building. A developer cannot start working on a product if all the specs has not been written out. And the specs cannot be written out if it has not been researched upon. So this is where the researchers do their work. The designers design it into something that you can see, right? So once the design is ready, the research is done. Why do we even do research? Like I said earlier, you need to do research to make sure that you're building the right things. So once you have your ideas validated and your designs ready, the designers can now come up with what we call the high fidelity mockups. If you're in the design track, chill, because you have a lot to learn in the course of your learning journey. Now, once you get to once the product team has the design ready, the product manager, in line with the project manager, will do what we call specs or requirement authoring. So this is where all the requirements that is needed for that product to be successful is clearly written out. This will enable the developers to develop this product and also help the quality assurance testers to test the products correctly. So in as much as all these are going on, you already see that you have product managers, you already know what they do. You have UI UX designers or product designers. You have researchers, and now you have the developers. The developers are the people who make these ideas functional. The designers only build the blueprint of how it should work, but they don't necessarily make it functional. Now, without the blueprint, the implementation will be whack. So this is why it is really important to follow these processes. After the design is ready, like I said, developers start coding it, they start programming it, they start making it functional. And in a typical application, we always have what we call the client side and the server side. Client side is the part of the software that you and I can see as users. We can see them and interact with them, right? And the back end or the server side is the part that the users cannot see and interact with. These are like the data, the part of the web app or the application in general that holds the database. A lot of things going here, but we don't need it as users. But as a back-end developer, if you're going to be learning development, although we don't have a back-end development track in this cohort, but we have front-end development, you're the one who is going to make sure that the client side is interactive, the client side is built according to what has been specified by the designer and the product manager. So once all these things are done, you get ready for release. Now, before you get ready for release, you need to make sure that it is tested against all the success criteria or acceptance criteria that have been defined when we're doing this. Please, if you're not talking, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic if you're not talking. Thank you. So, these are also called the QA testers, and this is a path that you can go in. Now, once this product is ready for release, we have people who, start marketing these things. These are marketers. Now, someone asked about digital marketer. This is where digital marketing come into play. But digital marketers are not your traditional kind of marketers. They don't need to go to any office to give anybody any flyer or to preach, oh, you need to buy this product. With their digital knowledge, with their digital skills knowledge, they can run adverts, they can run campaigns, they can do things that can target the audience of that product. So I can basically sit in Nigeria as a product manager, as a digital marketer, and I will do things that will make people that are in the US that need my product to see them and buy it even without leaving their house. So this is what digital marketing is all about. They're about marketing products in such a way that it will get to the people who need them. But in a digital manner, you don't need to leave your house, you don't need to go to anybody to go and preach to them like the normal traditional. You don't need to sell newspapers or go to the TV to make announcements. So this is what digital marketing is all about. Now, we also have some parts, like before a product is successful in the market, remember that when you release, you need to be gathering user feedbacks. Now, we have the customer support agent who gather these feedbacks and get it to the product team. So all these are people who are involved in a typical product development cycle. So if you're a UI UX designer, a product designer, a researcher, a developer, a digital marketer, data analysts. So like Mercy said, data analysts are people who look at the data that we've gathered. Remember, these feedbacks also come from the users. The data analyst can also look at these feedbacks in a more higher level. The person can even look into the databases to see the data structures and how these things work, to draw insights. These insights can help the company take a very great decision that will move the product to another level. So all the big companies you hear about in Africa, we have Flutterwave, we have Paystack, we have InterSwitch. Those companies did not just blow overnight. They did, their data analysts were involved in a lot of data manipulation that enabled them to take strategic decisions that move this product to the next level. So these are different people that are involved in a typical product development life cycle. Now, when this product, now the marketing is also divided into different things. A technical writer is basically a marketer, but indirectly, because when you're writing about a product, you're increasing the face of that product. If I go and search for how to write HTML, you see a lot of articles. People wrote those articles, and those people that wrote those articles are called technical writers. Some of them are marketing the tools that their companies have built that you can use to write HTML. Some of them will tell you that you can use VS Code to write HTML. They are basically developer advocates for VS Code. So these are still marketing, but in a different dimension. So I hope this solves all your answers against who is who and where you fit in a typical product development team. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
it makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense, ma'am.
Great. So depending on the track that you have been admitted to, your classes will basically start this week. And you'll be using Google Classroom to learn. You'll be using Google Meet to learn. You'll also be using Slack and other tools depending on the track that you have been chosen. So now we are going to be leaving here before 20 minutes time, but I would like to invite Alex to talk about the salary opportunities that are presently in tech for different industries. So please, Alex, are you on board?
Yes, I am. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up my screen. Just give me a second. Okay. Go ahead and share this. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet, Alex.
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, we can see it now.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is for those of us who are looking more about the UI UX design track. For those of us who actually like opting for the UI and UX design track, so I'll just be sharing some insight around it. Just like I said initially, it's not a rocket science, right? It's not something that is that has to do with a whole lot of like work, but it all just requires like little commitment from you and daily practice as well. So in the course of this learning journey, we'll be diving deep into like what UI UX is, and within the 3 months period, you have like a better foundation in UI and UX design. So this is the average salary that a UI and UX designer in America. And basically most are to have more remote jobs that are actually like coming out from America mostly, and Europe. So you as a UI and UX designer, an upcoming UI and UX designer, so you should be earning within a range around this, depending on how skilled you are. So that's why I say initially it all depends on your commitment in this learning journey. How well are you committed to learning? So this is more like an average salary that is $91,000, and if you to do the maths to like times it against like the current value of naira against dollar, you should be getting around 45 million or so. This is like a year for yearly salary. So there are like a whole lot of opportunities that not just because it's not not just because it's the money, but definitely the money will definitely solve a whole lot of things. And you coming into tech, the money shouldn't be like the drive. I'm to say the money shouldn't be like a drive, but you can just use it as more like something as a yardstick you can use to say, okay, I want to make money, and then you learning a new skill. Basically, that's why all of us are here. But this is not like a get rich quick scheme. It's something that's going to require a lot of like commitment from you for you to be able to scale, for you to be able to get like a good paying job. It requires a lot from you, and don't be scared to share your work. Just like what Claire was saying about her sharing her work and people commenting on it. So it gives you, just gets you motivated for you to like keep sharing. And also I'm going to share the salary for product design. So product design, so it's mostly like almost like the same range. Let me just type product design here. Search. Oh, I didn't get any inputs. Okay, I had it on a different tab. Let me see if I can bring that tab inside this. Give me a second. I'll just copy this link. Okay, so for a product designer, basically like this is the range of salary the product designer is going to also earn yearly. So as the thing is, as the year goes by, these numbers are going to increase, and we have like a limited number of persons, and mostly females. So if you're a female, I believe almost like everybody here is. So you have like a whole lot of opportunity, because most of the designers and developers, more people in tech rather, are mostly like I said, the tech industry are mostly occupied by one gender, which is like the male, and you have like a better chance in this industry if you're a female, because companies like Microsoft, Google, Meta, they're actually like looking to be able to like bridge or like to bring in more women into the tech industry. So the women inclusion, you're driving for women inclusion. So if you're applying for a job and you're a female and then you know this skill like product design or UI UX, product manager, digital marketing, you have more chance of getting a job because of your gender. So most companies are leaning into like bringing more females into their companies, because they are trying to solve one of the UN the SDGs goal. Now that should be SDG 5, more like to solve more of gender equality in the tech industry. So you stand more chance of getting a good job. So it all what it does is your commitment throughout this learning journey. I believe sharing some of this expectation, this salary expectation or like salary range with you was a bit just to motivate you a little. Also, I would like to attend to some of the questions that was asked. Just give me a second.
Please, I have a question, sir.
Okay, yeah, go on.
Okay, so you talked about the salary scale for UI UX designers and product designers.
Yeah.
What about web developers and basically other aspect, data analytics and all of that?
Okay, yeah. So we can actually like go on and on, but because of the time, and probably I'll just do just to share the link in the chat, and just give me. I think I'll just go ahead and share the link in the chat, so everyone get to like see what other values for data analytics and digital marketing, what definitely you're looking at earning. But the average or the least you should be looking at is for an average salary is within, let's say, $60,000, and that's a whole lot of number. I'm not saying that once you just learn the skill, like the 3-month skill, and then you just start earning $84,000 or $90,000. It's gonna take a while, and it all depends on how committed you are to like learning more stuff. So just like the case of Claire Claire was one of the person that actually like went, let's say, above and beyond to also like try to learn more things on our own. So it doesn't just learning does not end here at the Tech Trail. Even at your own space, you have to like commit to like doing some kind of self learning or self development on your own part, because it's going to also distinguish you from other students or like other applicants. It all depends on how much knowledge that you have acquired over time. I don't know if this answered your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, great. Any other question?
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much, Alex. So we're actually behind schedule. So I'll be introducing some of the coaches that are here. We will still be meeting them when the class kicks off officially this week, but you already know Alex. Alex is a product design coach. You already know Melody. You already know Blessing. Blessing is also a UI UX coach. And who else? We have Foxy on the call. Foxy is a web developer. I'm going to introduce Foxy. Foxy, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm a front-end web developer, and I'll be teaching you HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We are going to have a great fun, guys.
Thank you so much, Foxy.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Then the next person here is Linda. Linda is one of your data analytics coaches.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Linda. And I'll be your data analytics coach. I hope we have a lot of fun learning together.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Linda. Linda is currently, forgot the name of her country again. Linda, can you mention that country name?
Lithuania.
Oh yeah, I think that's in Europe. Let me see if there's another person here. We have more than 16 coaches in this academy, in this cohort 3. So some of them are not here now, while some of them are here. So Linda, please, could you share your Twitter handle? Foxy as well. Let me see if I can grab them. Yeah, so you can contact with Foxy. Linda, I don't have yours. Okay, so while we wait for her to do that.
I dropped mine on
Hey.